So as of late, I've been getting into what being a father is with my newborn, and it's been quite not exactly what I've expected, and that's what I've want to talk to you guys about today. We've chosen as a couple, of course, to get into this relationship and be together and have a kid. And now that we finally have our child, man, it's been such a whirlwind of emotions. I don't even know where to start about fatherhood and being a first-time dad. To start off with, I wanted to become a dad or a father because I've always wanted to be a role model. Saw myself as somebody I wanted to have look after somebody or something. A lot of people thought, okay, maybe start with a pet or something, but I'm like, it's nothing like having your own child and being a part of somebody else's life and making a difference in theirs. Now that I'm stepping into this role, especially with this newborn, it's not exactly what I expected it to be because my thoughts were initially that when this kid is born, I get to talk to them, I get to train them and teach them and be a good role model like my father was. But having a newborn is a totally different taking on self. I expected to have, uh, you know, being able to already have them not packaged out ready, but already asking questions and me kind of walking them through particular situations or talking about different sports, mainly just about communication. And that's the funny thing because when I think about being a good dad, I just think of all those things as I grew up, having a father or having a role model in front of me, being able to speak to them and do things with them is all I thought about being a dad. But I never really got to the point where a newborn, they can't talk, they cry a lot, and it really tests your patience in terms of how much you can handle. Because imagine just talking to somebody, and the only way they can respond back is by talking. So that has been the real challenge for me so far. The other challenge is that having a newborn doesn't come exactly with a manual. Yes, they give you can do all the courses you like online. Yeah, I mean, it helps for some people, but for me, no matter what advice was given to me, which I'll say some of them do work, there's no manual on how to raise a child from scratch. Like when I say scratch, from a baby that can't really communicate except for crying. So now you're doing all these things to see if they're okay, because crying can mean so many different ways. And I just don't like the fact that some people say, "Oh, you'll know the way they cry," but I don't really think it works like that, in my opinion. I mean, you do all your checks, at least in my experience. Check the diaper if they're okay. You swaddle them, or you cuddle them, or you talk to them, or you sing to them and they'll stop, or even if they're hungry. Like, you don't actually know unless you go through all these different processes to figure out exactly why they're crying. And in some cases, sometimes they just cry because they just want to let things out and their nervous system isn't ready to quite absorb all of this environment that they're in. So you try to be understanding. But the main point is that I didn't know that it would be like that. I sort of just forgot about the whole beginning part, that they still have to learn how to talk. They still have to learn how to eat. They still have to learn how to, like, either digestive system. They still have to learn how to, like, process how to fart, and like how the body has to learn how to, like, poop and pee. So it really humbled me in terms of knowing where everything starts from scratch and everything starts from the beginning. And this has caused me to sort of think of being a dad differently now, because it just doesn't start off with, here you go, here's a 5-year-old, now teach him everything. Actually having it from the get-go of, right from the newborn stage is a completely different challenge for me. Yeah, so what it's been like really for me is just, it was more of the communication aspect of it. I'm getting better at it now. I'm about 6 weeks into with my kid, so it's been quite the journey so far, across the milestones, which I'm glad. The other part of it is One is the sleep deprivation. I've never in my life have ever been this tired. I've never fought through battles of trying to stay awake, even just trying to feed my kid just because I'm so tired. You're on their sleep schedule, and I find different ways to be effective. And I'm hope and cross my fingers. I know it'll change at some point where their sleeping schedule gets a little bit better. But for now, it's sort of just been they'll sleep, I know, every 2 hours. They'll wake up, to feed, and then you gotta face the whole fact that it's not just as they say where okay, you give this baby a bottle and you feed them and they sleep. No, it doesn't work like that. You gotta feed the kid. You gotta set them up, have your arms a particular way so that you're comfortable. And when you feed them, you can't just like shove it in your mouth. You actually gotta watch what you're drinking, if it's going in, if you're swallowing. So you have this whole aspect of feeding. I mean, eventually it does become very basic, and maybe I am overthinking about it. And maybe because the background as being a healthcare, it's frightening because you want to make sure you do the best because you care, right? That's the truth. You care about this human being that you're feeding. And now that I'm going through it, it's so much more different going through it versus seeing it and just sort of participating in it. And as I help raise some of my brother's kids, it's been different having my own now. And the sleep deprivation is really what's you know getting to me on some days. It does affect your relationships because you guys are like being squeezed of every energy you possibly have, um, to make sure you function at the best rate as you can. Not having enough sleep can cause you to feel sometimes, of course, other than tired, you start to your patience is really tested. You become very agitated, very irritable when you don't get enough sleep. You don't really eat well as well, or you're eating just to stay awake, and that's sort of just been my issue as well. Just because I don't want to fall asleep, I'll eat, and if I do fall asleep, I go into deep sleep. So that's the other issue. So all in all, it's just the whole fact that I totally bypassed this whole era of being a father. Is just the very very beginning stages of just the basics. So I guess what the vlog is about is just it's not exactly how I pictured it to be. Where you'll see, in the movie they skip the whole part of being newborn. You just go straight to when they're like 5 years old or 6 years old, where you're playing with them. You're going around, you're taking them places. It's such a colorful era because when they grow, they just absorb everything. But as a newborn, it's totally different. And each day I think about it, I'm just also going through it. So it's definitely something to think about if you are going to be a father. Um, don't ever forget the stage. It is happening quite fast, and before I know it's going to be done already. So I try my best to be present and stay in the moment, and remember that in hindsight, that it's a journey. It's like it's a marathon. It's not how fast you can teach this kid, but going through the process and really understanding the amount of sacrifice my parents made, raising myself. And now that I'm seeing it firsthand, experiencing firsthand, I'm learning that it's not easy. And it's so different because I practically have everything I need to survive this. And being an immigrant coming from a different country and my parents moving here to Canada, I can only imagine how difficult it was for them, for me to travel to different countries, raising me in different countries, and eventually end up here, while also dealing with the finances, while also dealing with seeing if there's support. Like family is here already for me. There's not much for me to go to anywhere else really, and sometimes when you think of all the blessings you have and all of the things you already have, all the tools you possibly need, especially being in this country, you already have it. I have time off of work and I can look after my kid. I have time to do things. And look at me now. I'm filming a YouTube video, and I'm out here enjoying the weather. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just being thankful, and I don't want this video to seem like a very video about me venting, but it's more really just sharing my experience in hopes that one day if someone watches this, that they know that, not to be, not to feel stressed, that they're not alone in all this, that everything is gonna come and go. So just enjoy the moment, and just enjoy the moment, not enjoy the moment, and just be present. And that's what I've been learning so far is I know it's a phase, and I'm gonna get through it. Um, but I didn't really. That's where my video really lies. That I didn't really expect it the way it is now, but nonetheless, I'm happy, and hopefully this video, if someone sees it, like I said, gets encouraged that not to give up, not to give up on yourself, not to give up on your partner. You work together, you'll get through it, and it's part of the whole journey, and it really shows you and gives you appreciation of what it takes to be a father, and as a newborn dad, especially because times are rough. So yeah, and that's all I want to say. Anyways, thanks for listening to this video. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and I'll post some more in the future, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.